And the thesis of my lecture really is the relationship between Marxism and racism, how those two things are brought together to undermine Western Christian culture.
I want to suggest that right now in the history of the West, and particularly in America, we're going through something equally radical, and it's something that we can call a great awakening.
We must be intentional about pursuing that orthodoxy of the kingdom and its context, because it sets forth the robust Christian worldview. And that influences our culture, our ethics, and thus our law and policy, in which all may flourish, just not those who name the name of Christ alone.
Biblical resistance to globalism is a matter of preserving actual freedom for real national communities around the world. It's not simply a theoretical, philosophical exercise.
Biblical justice refuses to interpret all of God's world as a mere power play of oppressors versus the oppressed. Well, in Social Justice B, that looks very different. Social Justice B, when you dive into this literature, it interprets all truth, all reason, all logic as just constructs of the oppressor.
As churches and parachurch organizations debate and separate over the issue of social justice in the coming years, students of history should remember the consequences of previous controversies which followed a similar pattern. Students of Scripture should perhaps also recall the words Elijah the prophet spoke to the nation of Israel on Mount Carmel. How long will you go limping between two different opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if critical theorists, then follow them.
Every issue with the foundational knowledge that all of reality falls into just two categories, either creator God or creation. There's nothing in between. It's only when we have these two categories correctly set up in our minds, I think, that everything else comes to right in our perspectives.
We know how all of this ultimately turns out. The Church of Jesus Christ, right now, will be the church triumphant, gathered around the throne, singing to the Lamb that was slain. And that church will be an innumerable congregation from every nation, tribe, people, and language.